And our final topic today comes to us from Mr. Yasman300, who writes, "Greetings, John. Robert and Ashley." Well, Robert and Ashley aren't here right now, obviously. "Buzfeed released a report saying that their sources told them that Lucasfilm has hired Laeta, I'm going to mispronounce this name, I know it, Laeta Kalogridis, anyway, to write the script for a Knights of the Old Republic film." All right, thanks a lot for that, guys. Now, listen, there has been, for a long time, Knights of the Old Republic is one of the most popular games that's ever come out of the Star Wars franchise. It then had a re-release. I remember when it got released on mobile, when they put out an Android edition for it. I got that on my phone. I was playing it like crazy. Then there was talk about a remastered version of the game, and then that got shot down. Now we know we got the Benioff and Weiss movies coming. Some speculation has been going around that it might take place in the Old Republic era, although there's been nothing to confirm that. Then at Star Wars Celebration, Kathleen Kennedy dropped a hint that they might be working on something with Knights of the Old Republic, Well, according to these reports, it's gone beyond might be working on something. Here's what it said in BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed News, right? "A movie based on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the beloved video game first released in 2003, is currently being written by," again, I'm going to stumble over this name, Laeta Kalogridis, who also worked on Avatar and Shutter Island, the Martin Scorsese film, for Lucasfilm. Three sources close to the project told BuzzFeed News. "In the Knights of the Old Republic game, the player helps fight an uprising against the Republic led by the villainous Darth Malak, a Sith Lord." And of course, those who are entrenched in Star Wars lore also know that Darth Revan plays a significant role in that as well, and that's got people really excited all at the same time. So, what's going to happen? I think there's a couple of possibilities here. The first possibility we should acknowledge here is that the report is wrong. That's a possibility, that the report is wrong. Although it does seem oddly specific. I mean, having a specific screenwriter attached and all that kind of stuff. So let's take that into consideration. This report may be wrong. Let's go on the assumption for a moment that it's correct for the sake of the discussion. What do I think about this? Well, there's a couple of different possibilities. One possibility is that this could very well be the Benioff and Weiss trilogy. I mean, the assumption has been that Benioff and Weiss are going to be writing their own thing, and that's kind of what I think is going to happen, probably. But who knows? There's a possibility here that they're just overseeing and shepherding the whole thing, and they got this other writer to write, and maybe this thing she's working on is that. Because if it's not, if what she's working on is not for Benioff and Weiss, then I've got to ask what the hell's going on. Because right now we've got three dates: 2022, 2024, and 2026, and they're going to be the Benioff and Weiss films. They have not yet officially said what's happening with Rian Johnson. Is that trilogy still happening? If it is, does it not come out till, 2028? And if you are doing what Bob Iger said they're doing, we're going to space out Star Wars more. Well, what's this new Knights of the Old Republic trilogy? Is it going to come in 2035? Is that when it's coming out? Like, why are you working on something now that you can't even get around to for another decade? It raises a lot of questions. Then it raises another question. Could it be something for Disney Plus? That's a possibility that we hadn't considered. I mean, maybe it could be theatrical, but look, Disney is clearly going full throttle and going all in on this Disney Plus streaming service. That was the whole reason they did the Fox deal in the first place. Could it be that maybe this is something that's specifically being done as a trilogy of films just for Disney Plus, so they don't have to worry about the release date stuff? There's a lot of possibilities here. Now, I'll say this as well. While I get excited about the idea of a Knights of the Old Republic movie, I would be fine if it's not actually the story from the video game. I'd be fine. See, I even just like the idea of them doing any movie set in the Old Republic. Now, I generally don't like prequels. But the great thing about the Old Republic, which, I mean, and in the video game, it's set like 4,000 years before the events of the main Star Wars story. The good thing about Old Republic is that it's so far removed in time from the current movies that it's really not a prequel. Because once you go back more than like a couple of hundred years, you're telling entirely new stories with entirely different characters that you don't have to worry about bucking canon of the existing stuff because you're so far removed. You go back thousands of years to the Old Republic, and now you're in a time frame where you can do anything. Anything. Because even if you do things that are totally break canon, you can say, oh yeah, but over the next 1,000 years, it evolves into this, and that's how you get what you get in canon in the main Star Wars universe. So it's in the Star Wars universe, but it's so far removed in time that you literally have no handcuffs on you creatively, and you can do any movie you want. So I've been excited for a long time about the notion of doing any sort of Star Wars story set in the Old Republic times, and that could be interesting. Although I got to admit, I'd be more down mostly for the whole notion of just based on the video game. How close to the video game they'll be, who knows? Whether this is 100% true right now, who knows? But I'm sure we will find out more in the coming days. What do you guys think about a possibility of a Knights of the Old Republic movie trilogy? Do you think it's a bad idea? Do you think it's a good idea? If it's good, do you want to see it on the big screen? Or do you think this is something that's perfect for Disney+? What do you guys think about it? Jump down in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts.